Hey, what's up ladies and gentlemen? In today's video, I'm going to show you how to add fake tattoos to skin using Adobe Premiere and Mocha Pro. Alright, so for this video tutorial, I'm going to be working with this footage for two reasons. The first reason is you can also go ahead and download it with the link in the description below. The second reason is to make you click on this video, so hopefully it worked. Alright, so without further ado, let's get started. Right here in Premiere Pro, I have imported my footage and I will drag it into a new sequence. Here we can see the video file of this woman walking. I'm just going to trim it a little bit just before when she spins around. So I'm just going to make this video clip shorter. So now the next thing that we have to do is go over to the Effects tab and search for Mocha Pro. This is a plugin and today's video sponsor. If you haven't heard of Mocha Pro, then you're probably new when it comes to visual effects because they have been around for 20 years. BorisFX has industry-leading tools for visual effects artists, such as Mocha Pro in this case, but they have a ton of other products on the line that help you creating stunning-looking results in no time. Alright, so if you want to find out more from Mocha Pro, link is in the description below, go and check it out. And yeah, it's really powerful because it also allows you to do tracking and masking and everything inside of Adobe Premiere Pro. So we're going to apply this effect here to our video clip. And this will apply, and then you will see the Mocha Pro applied to your video. Right here you can see the logo. If you click that, it will open up the Mocha system, so it will launch it into a new window, and we can just close this right here. That will load in the footage into our Mocha Pro plugin. So right here, this is the view. If you don't see this, I'm working here with the Classics view. This gives me the entire overview of the entire software, and I just find this easier to work with once you have a better understanding of the software. Also, what I would like to add, if this is your first time using Mocha Pro, it can feel a little bit daunting and there is so much to see there. So a little bit of advice is when you're starting out with a software, it's just to focus on the things that you need for your case, because they have so many tools in here that you currently don't need, so there is no need to actually take a look at them and just ignore them for now. So all we need to focus on is that right here is the viewport, right here we have the timeline, and right here we have the layering system. So we will create a new layer, and actually that happens automatically by clicking on the pen tool and starting to create a mask. So what I want to do is, before I click on my pen tool, is I want to find a nice spot here where she is facing the camera straight forward, and there is also nothing like shadows or hair in front of her chest. And then I'm going to take the pen tool here, or the X-spline tool, and I'm going to create a spline like right here. And I'm also going to take part of her bikini here, just so I have a little bit more contrast to work with, and that's just some extra detail that's going to be in my track. Once you're done with your mask, you can right-click and that will finalize the track. So now we have to concentrate on the parameters, and here we can see all these tabs. Every tab does a different thing, so in this case we need to do tracking, so we need to be in the tracking tab. So in the tracking tab, what I want to change is I want to take a look at the input channel. So we have the luminance right here, but I have found that if you go and take a look at every individual color here, that blue consists of the most information. We can see a lot of detail here in the skin if you compare it to red, for example. So what I'm going to do is reset this back to RGB, but for the input channel, I'm going to choose blue. You don't have to do this, but in my case, this ended up working better. Then also for the minimum percent pixels used, I'm also going to set this to 100%, so it uses all the pixels available in my shot. Then I'm also going to enable the perspective and the mesh option. The mesh option is now going to add something to my mask, and you can see that my mask becomes connected. And this is going to allow us to do the mesh deformation. So a few other things that we need to adjust before we can finalize this effect is here in the mesh generation, we want to change the automatic mode to uniform. Now we need to generate this mask, otherwise you're not going to see any changes. So if we click on generate mesh, we will see that we now get a grid such as this one right here, with all these points being actual tracking points, and they're going to each individually track that particular area and then calculate the deformations happening right there. So we have the mesh size right here, and this actually accounts for the spacing that you see in between the grid. So what I like to do here is set it maybe to 25 and generate it again, or maybe even 22 and generate it again, so we have a little bit of a tinier space to work with. And then for the smoothness, I'm going to set it to auto smoothness. And that's it. Now we need to track it. So as you can see, I started with my first keyframe in the middle of my clip. And depending on where you are, you eventually have to start and fill the entire timeline with tracks. So you have to come back to your original position and then track it either backwards or forwards. So let's start with a backwards track. I'm just going to extend my mask a little bit more. And I'm also going to lower it a little bit in the middle here. And I'm going to generate my mask again. And also enable adaptive contrast right here. And going back to my begin point, I'm going to click on track backwards again. And then go back to this point and track it forward. Alright, so now that our track is done, we're ready to add our tattoo, and here it's important to find an image with a transparent background. So I have this image right here, and we can actually import this right within Mocha Pro, so there is no need to do anything else except Mocha Pro. So let's go now to a different tab, and that's the Insert tab. In the Insert tab, we want to choose Insert, Import, and here choose our tattoo. And if we open that up, we're going to import that, and we're going to see it right here in the middle. So now we can zoom in holding Z and then just dragging in here, and with X we can pan around, and now you can use these corners here to really match everything up. So maybe we want it to be a little bit bigger. You can also choose the perspective it should have. So something like this should do the trick. And now we can also warp it a little bit according to the deformations that already should have occurred. So we can choose here in the comp here, the grid warp, and we are also going to enable power mesh warp. And so the grid warp allows us to deform our warp on different levels, level 4 being the most subdivided level. Let's say level 2, you will see less points, and now you can deform specific parts to make it look a little bit more like it's actually fitting on the skin here. So maybe you want to deform it a little bit on particular areas so it looks like it's actually there. So once you're satisfied with that, it's going to apply it to the entire track. So that's no further things that you need to do. If we play this backwards, you will see that it's currently tracked into position, and it seems like doing a great job at it as well. And before we close it, you can also change the opacity to something like 80 if you want, and change the blending mode to something different like luminosity. And that's it. So now we can close this and save it. And there we have it. This is how to apply tattoos in Adobe Premiere Pro. It's really incredible that you can do this type of stuff just within Premiere, so that's why I thought creating this type of tutorial. Obviously, this also works in other software. Go and check out Mocha Pro with the link in the description below to see if this is also possible with your editing software of choice. Apart from that, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give this video a like. Also be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to stay notified when I upload new videos. And I hope to see you in the next one. Until then, create epic videos.